Alright, IGCSE students, we're going to take a look at upper and lower bounds. So what I thought I'd do is give you a bit of an introduction by looking at one of the questions from the beginning, or maybe a few of them perhaps, and also an example of how this applies in a problem. So that's number 8, which we'll do a bit later. So first of all, upper and lower bounds. We've got 6 centimetres to the nearest centimetre. Now what I like to do with these is I look at the next bit, the nearest centimetre, and that means between the upper and lower bounds there must be 1 centimetre, which means my lower bound is going to be 5.5 and my upper bound is going to be 6.5, since if we divide this 1 centimetre up, you're going to have 0.5 here and you're going to have 0.5 here. So this is my lower bound and this is my upper bound. Now let's apply that to another example. Let's say, why don't we do 1e? 7.7 centimeters to the nearest, oh no, not to the nearest, it's to 1 dp. So what we do is we write 7.7. Now, to 1 dp, now 1 dp is 0.1, isn't it? So we're going to split that 0.1 up into 2 parts, which means that on this side we're going to have 0.05 and on this side we're going to have 0.05. So the lower bound therefore is going to be equal to 7.65, since if we go 7.7 take away 0.05, that's what we'd get, and then if we add 0.05 on, we should get 7.75 as our upper bound. Let me do for you another example. Let's do why don't we do number 1f. So this time we're given something to 3 significant figures. So the third significant figure is obviously that second decimal place in this particular instance. So we've got 0.01, okay, and that means that we're going to split that 0.01 up into 2 parts. So if we split into 2 parts, we divide it by 2, we should have 0.005 on either side, which means our lower bound, we're going to take that away, so it should be 2.625, that's our lower bound, and our upper bound, we're going to add that on, so we should get 2.635. Okay, so that's about how you do this. Let's take a look at this number 8 here, which is a problem-solving example. We've got sides of 5.3 centimeters and 7.4 centimeters to correct to 1 decimal place, and we've got to calculate the upper bounds for the perimeter of the rectangle and the area of the rectangle. Well, first of all, I'm going to take my 5.3 and I'm going to do my upper and lower bounds. So again, it's 0.1, so we're going to halve that on each side. So our lower bound will be 5.25 and our upper bound will be 5.35. So lower bound and upper bound. And then with the other dimension, which is 7.4 centimeters, we're going to divide that up into upper and lower bounds, and again you can see that we've got a lower bound. We're going to take 0.05 off, so it should be 7.35 is our lower bound, and we're going to have 7.45 is our upper bound. Now we can do the problem solving part of it. With the perimeter of the rectangle, the lower bound perimeter is going to be equal to 2 times the lower bound for the 5.3. I don't know why we've got a 6 there. I think it should be 5 there. Okay, 2 times the 5.3, so 2 times the 5.25, which is the lower bound, plus 2 times the lower bound for the other dimension, which is 7.35. And what will that give us? 2 times 5.25 plus 2 times 7.35, and I'm getting 25.2 is my lower bound for perimeter. Now the upper bound perimeter is going to be equal to 2 times the upper bound for the first dimension plus 2 times the upper bound for the second dimension. And what does this give us? 2 times 5.35 plus 2 times 7.45 gives me 25.6 centimeters. Now for the area, the lower bound for the area is going to be equal to the two lower bound values for the lengths multiplied by together. So 5.25 times 7.35. Now, what does this give us? 5.25 times 7.35, and that gives me 38, and I'm going to write the whole answer. I'm not going to do any rounding. 38.5875. So don't do any rounding for these upper and lower bounds unless they tell you to, in which they're not telling us to. The upper bound for the area is going to be equal to the two upper bounds for the lengths times each other. So 5.35 times the 7.45, and when we chuck this into the calculator, what do we get? I'm getting an answer of 39.8575. 39.8575. Well, good luck on all this, guys. Please let me know if you're having any trouble and I'll help you out. Take care.